All right, let's jump right into this explainer by shifting your mindset right out of the gate. Look, when you're facing a legal issue, it is incredibly easy to feel like you're just a helpless participant in a really confusing system. But today, we're flipping that script. You are not just a client, you are the boss, and you are conducting a high-stakes job interview. This explainer is designed to give you the exact questions and strategies you need to find an attorney who truly fits your case, and honestly, just as importantly, to know exactly when you should walk away. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover your pre-consultation homework, vetting their experience and credentials, fees and billing, communication and strategy, spotting consultation red flags, and finally, evaluating and deciding on the best fit. Let's kick things off with Section 1, pre-consultation homework, or as I like to think of it, preparing to be the boss. You know, it's actually wild, but most people show up to a lawyer's office completely empty-handed. But doing these 3 simple steps completely changes the dynamic of that very first meeting. First up, gather your documents. Having your paperwork ready to go just speeds up their initial assessment. Second, organize your timeline. Literally write down every fact you can remember in chronological order. And third, set your goals. You really need to know what you want before you ask a lawyer how to get there. Like, do you want a quiet, quick settlement, or are you looking to fight it out in court? Completing these 3 steps turns the initial consultation into a super productive 2-way interview where you hold the power, instead of you just passively sitting there answering a lawyer's questions. Moving right along to Section 2, experience and credentials. This is all about vetting the resume.
So when you ask how many similar cases they've handled, you aren't just making small talk about how long they've been practicing law. You want exact numbers. Numbers tell a story. An attorney who has handled hundreds of cases exactly like yours understands the nuances, they know the local judges, and they know the opposing tactics that a newer lawyer or even just a generalist might just be guessing at. You absolutely want to know what percentage of their practice is totally dedicated to your exact problem.
And beyond their day-to-day experience, you've got to verify those credentials. Obviously, confirming an active state license is step 1, but let's talk about that second point for a second. Ask about disciplinary actions. Now, I know it might feel incredibly awkward to sit across a desk from a professional and ask if they've ever been disciplined by the state bar, but doing so shows you did your homework and that you expect absolute transparency. Finally, look for board certifications. These are a great sign because they indicate a really advanced level of knowledge in a specific field, elevating them way above just a standard general law license.
All right, Section 3, fees and billing. Time to talk about protecting your wallet. The legal world absolutely loves its confusing financial jargon, right? And a shocking number of people sign contracts without knowing what they actually mean. So let's break down the big 3. Hourly rates are your typical go-to for ongoing disputes where the timeline is just a big unknown. Flat fees are exactly what they sound like, one set price for predictable tasks like drafting an estate plan. And then you have contingency fees, which you usually see in personal injury cases. And that just means the lawyer only gets a cut if you actually win your case. Knowing which structure applies to you is step 1 in protecting your finances.
Now, asking this question translates to, hey, are you going to surprise me later with hidden court costs and random administrative expenses? A retainer is essentially just a down payment to guarantee their availability, but you really need to know exactly how that money gets used. Does the fee they just quoted you actually include filing fees? Does it include copying and administrative costs? You've got to ask what falls outside that base fee so you aren't hit with unexpected bills when you're feeling the most vulnerable. I want you to consider this a total non-negotiable rule. Demanding itemized statements ensures every single hour billed and every task completed is completely transparent. It shows you exactly what the attorney or their paralegals were doing on a random Tuesday afternoon for your case. This one simple request keeps both sides fully accountable, and it really prevents nasty billing disputes down the road. Which brings us to Section 4, communication and strategy. Let's map out the day-to-day plan. Oh, this is a massive one. You might have this fantastic, reassuring consultation with a senior partner, but asking this question translates to a very real fear. Are you going to bait and switch me and hand my file off to a junior associate the second I leave this room? You have to confirm who is actually managing your file day to day, who makes the final strategic decisions, and whether your primary contact will be the one personally returning your phone calls. Getting clear answers to these strategy questions is what separates the confident, experienced attorneys from the ones who are still figuring things out. An experienced lawyer is going to give you a very honest initial assessment. They won't sugarcoat the weaknesses of your position. They'll outline a recommended strategy, whether that's going in with aggressive litigation or aiming for collaborative negotiation, and they'll give you a realistic timeline based on their actual past experience with the courts. This gives you a really clear, honest preview of the road ahead. Okay, Section 5, Consultation Red Flags. How to spot danger before it's too late? Here is a golden rule of the legal world, so listen closely. No honest attorney will ever promise you a guaranteed win. The law is unpredictable, judges are unpredictable, and evidence can shift on a dime. A green flag attorney explains probable outcomes based on similar past cases and the facts at hand. A red flag attorney, they'll promise you the moon just to get you to sign that contract. You really gotta trust your gut here. Notice exactly how they treat you in the room. A rushed consultation almost always predicts rushed representation later on. If an attorney uses high-pressure sales tactics, trying to push you to sign immediately, or if they keep dodging your direct questions about money and total costs, that is your cue to literally walk out the door. Transparency should always come naturally to an ethical professional. Finally, we've made it to Section 6, Evaluating and Deciding. Time to choose the absolute best fit. So when you're sitting at home reviewing your notes from different firms side by side, run them through what we call the EEAT framework. Look at their experience in terms of years and case volume. Judge their expertise based on any specific specializations. Consider their authoritativeness in the broader legal community. And above all else, evaluate their trustworthiness based on exactly how transparent they were with you in that meeting. Together, these 4 pillars build a complete, solid picture of who truly deserves your trust and your business. Consider this your ultimate practical checklist. Whether it's a messy family law case, criminal defense, a personal injury claim, or just estate planning, these core questions always apply. Bringing this list into the room ensures you leave absolutely no important topic unaddressed, even if you happen to feel nervous or overwhelmed in the moment. Right before you make it official, remember that the engagement letter formalizes your entire relationship. Read every single clause carefully. Specifically, keep an eye out for termination rights, like what actually happens if you need to switch attorneys mid-case. And definitely look for dispute resolution clauses, just in case a billing disagreement pops up later. At the end of the day, a transparent engagement letter reflects a transparent attorney. This quote from our source material perfectly sums up everything we've covered today. The questions you ask today determine the quality of representation you receive tomorrow. It's really that simple. Knowing how easily a bad hire can derail your life, are you going to let a lawyer interview you, or are you ready to get in the driver's seat and interview them?